Often I hear a lot of people say, hey, I really just don't have that many references that I can rely on. How do I fill all these billets in this police questionnaire or my personal history statement? Let's discuss. Hey, before we get started, those two gifts are still available for you. The Getting Started workshop, it's going to tell you everything you need to know about the hiring process and how to get through the hiring process, plus some added bonuses in there is practice written exams and a few other things to see where you're at and what you need to look forward to when it comes to the police hiring process. Also, if you have something more specific to you, to your hiring process, go ahead, reach out to me for a free coaching call. I'd love to help you guys as best as I can, and we can dive into it from there. Now, what happens if you don't have enough references for your police history statement or your police history questionnaire? And the answer is you need to be tactful with the references you have. And the way to do that is if you have references, say that are references from a job, but they were colleagues of yours that you necessarily wouldn't put down as a supervisor, right? You would wind up using them as a reference, as long as they're good with it, right? If they're a good friend, colleague of yours that you met at work at a previous place of employment or a current place of employment, you can always put them down as a reference and just put them down as an associate reference. If it's a work reference and you're really running short on references here, put them down or put down HR as your work reference. If you don't have that good supervisor that you can, if you have a great supervisor that really supports what you're doing, go ahead, put that supervisor down if they're going to speak your praises. If not, just go directly to the HR individuals, ask them, hey, I might be looking at going through a background investigation. Who can I put down as a reference for place of employment? And most of the time, you're just going to Google the headquarters number, grab the HR number, and put that down, and you'll be good to go. And that's a work reference for each job you've done. So bam, we just eliminated every work reference that you need to have. Now, if you have some friends at work, some colleagues that you met through work, use them as other associate references, character references that really apply for the other aspects. If you've known them for a while, great. If you've known them for a short time, obviously you're going to build from there. A lot of times we're seeing on police history questionnaires is give us a reference that you've known for 3 years, give us a reference that you've known for 5 years, give us a reference that you've known greater than 10 years. And that's usually how you're going to do it. Other times they may say, hey, give us some references of places you've lived, like neighbors. Often that is very difficult to do if you're not living in a location because you don't know if the neighbor's still there. Maybe you never had contact with those neighbors. So the references you can put down there are individuals who lived in the local area or maybe are associates of yours or friends that knew that you lived there and that you can put down. Whether they live there anymore or not, you can put them down as a housing reference, right? As a place of living or a resident reference. So oftentimes I lived in a very remote area where I had no neighbors and I did not connect with any of the ones that were miles down the road. So it winded up being hey, this is a colleague of mine or an associate of mine that knows that I live there. And in that, they winded up, I just put them down, hey, I'm applying to this police department. Do you mind if I put you down as a reference stating that you knew that I lived here when I did, and you may have been over or not? And that's how I used other references. So those are big key factors. And then oftentimes if you use one, you want to try and only use one reference one time. But if you have to, if a reference that you knew is a residence reference, and then a reference that you've known for 10 years or more, great, do that. Stay away from using references that are family members. If you absolutely have to, go right ahead. But for the most part, stay away from that unless they specifically tell you to put down family members that are references. This is the way you're going to beat and not having enough people to put down on references, is you're going to mitigate your work references, not use individuals or not use supervisors unless that supervisor is going to speak very highly of you, and not use associates that you work with so you can utilize them in other aspects. And then as for the year ones, the ones that require you to know someone for a set number of years or greater, you're just going to have to dig deep and find that person that you're still in contact with that knows you from 10 years ago. And it might be a family member. Maybe it's a distant family member. Maybe it's Maybe it's the parent of someone you knew a while ago where you used to spend a lot of time at their house and things like that. Those are always the way that you can combat these reference shortages. So hope this helps. As always, listen, those 2 gifts are still in the description for you. The Getting Started workshop, everything you need to know about becoming a police officer, the hiring process, and a couple added bonuses like some written exams. Additionally, if you want to jump on a one-on-one call with me, discuss something specific to your hiring process, I'd gladly do that for you. The link is down below as well. As always, stay safe, and I will see you next time.